Very happy to have on the Goldstein on Gelt Show, Yair Shamir, who is the founding and managing partner of Catalyst Investments, among many other things that he's doing. He's also a former member of the parliament here in Israel, of the Knesset. Yair, real pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be invited.
So I know there's a lot going on in the business that you're doing. At least in the beginning of this discussion, I'd like to understand from you what you see as the trading relationship between Israel and China and what direction that relationship is going.
Well, China is a huge marketplace, and Israel is a huge marketplace, but for technology. And teeny, unrealistic to make any comparison. So the trading between the countries is okay from Israeli point of view, but from China point of view is insignificant, but not for technology. I think dozens of Chinese people looking for investment, looking for technology are coming every other day to Israel. And they are all over the place, not just technology. In many cases, they are even dealing with other portion of good ideas, which is just good ideas.
Are you concerned that Israel might be selling a lot of the core technology? The concern people have about the technology drain or the brain drain from here?
I don't think so, because people are buying, they're not buying the brain of the people. And in the high-tech industry, if you are not in every certain day, if you are not thinking about the future product, the second generation, the next generation, and so on, you will be dead in any way. Because the way new technology today is emerging with, a lot of flying colors and so on, in 3 years or so, 2 years, it's nothing. There is many other competitors and many better ideas. So for us, it's just a business. It's just, and the people are staying in Israel. They are not buying them and taking them elsewhere. But right. It's not just for the Chinese. It's also for let's say, Google, Microsoft, all the big guys have acquired Israeli company, and the brain is here, continue to be here.
But it seems
that the ownership has gone away. But
with the exception, let's say, of Teva, which has stayed in Israel and become so huge, Israel hasn't been able to take the technology that it has and build that in and of itself into a major Google or Microsoft, even though we have relationships with them.
Right, that's true. So, but on the other hand, we can become another engine of the big guys to accelerate their business on one end. On the other end, to create here in Israel jobs and energy, and more students are going apply to the university in the country, and it's give a lot of good energy into the economy here. So, because in any case, the local marketplace is very small, and to fight all over the globe for a teeny country like ourselves, it's I don't think it's maybe if we take let's say the example of Nokia in Finland. So it's worked for several years, and then it disappeared, and then the whole country fall apart because the huge Nokia have disappeared or whatever happened to them. So from my point of view, we are open to the Chinese and to the other places, and it's a good idea.
I see. So the way you're describing it is that rather than having one major company upon which the whole country relies, instead we've diversified. So tell me, as far as Israeli startups, you said we have a small marketplace here, which relatively obviously is true, but how about for finding money? Because all of these startup companies do need cash to get going. Is it difficult for them to get started?
Look, it's difficult here like it's difficult in the Silicon Valley. Maybe even a little bit more difficult because we are too far away from some big investors which are prefer to go for the Silicon Valley and so on. But today, let's say the Chinese guys or the Indian guys, or if they are looking for technology, they are coming here. If they are looking for markets, they are going elsewhere. The European companies the big guys in America, all of them are coming here. So to raise money in Israel for certain companies and good ideas, it's doable. And on top of it, you have to add that in any investment that an American investor are doing here in Israel, he is paying less for the technology than he would have paid on Route 128 or in the Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. Here, still the prices are lower than there, and the people are, the salaries are lower, and the cost of life is lower than elsewhere. So you can get benefits from investing in an Israeli company higher than you can get from company elsewhere. So as a result of that, it's hard to raise money everywhere, but it's not too harder in Israel than elsewhere.
We are talking with Yair Shamir, who is now working as the founder of Catalyst Investments. He's also involved in building the train in Tel Aviv, which we'll hopefully talk about in just a minute. And he's a former member of Knesset here in Israel. Yair, just tell me, a lot of times people talk about the unique nature of venture capital investing in Israel as opposed to, let's say, other countries. What is it that makes it so unique here?
Look, first of all, we are very, very much involved with the company. We put our money there, where we put the money. In many cases, I'm the chairman of the company I'm investing in. I know every single stuff. I'm open every door for them. And I was a parliament member, that's true, but I was also the agriculture minister, and I was the chairman of the largest corporation in Israel, Israeli aerospace industry, El Al, the airlines, the company responsible for road and train infrastructure in Israel. So I can open doors for those companies I'm investing in everywhere. Now, when we raise money from Chinese and they are our partners, I'm also a door opener in China for these companies I'm investing in. So I'm not sure about it, but I think that here the relationship between the investor and the companies are very, very close. I would say almost familiar family stuff. And as a result of that, a lot of tension that occurred between shareholders and companies are reduced. And if in many cases, deteriorate relationship between shareholders and companies are creating such a crisis in the company disappears. In Israel, there is a phenomenon like that, but it's very, very meaningless. It's a lower number than I think in other places.
All right. So let's just switch directions because we're just about out of time. But you mentioned the infrastructure here, and your current position is that you're involved in not just a minor infrastructure project, but one of the biggest infrastructure projects in the history of the country. How do you anticipate the mass transit system in Tel Aviv and really around the country changing the investment environment here?
It will give a boom to the economy in Israel. When I was before I went to the Knesset, I was the chairman of the infrastructure road company dealing also with train infrastructure, and we are, as we speak, we are now building something like 5 or 6 new train lines that will connect Tel Aviv center to all the periphery around Tel Aviv and in a radius of 100 kilometers. So people will have better communication. They can buy cheap places for building their companies. They don't have to be in the middle of Tel Aviv to pay, fortune for every square feet. They can go by the train for 40 minutes, and then they can rent it in, 15% of the cost in Tel Aviv. You can buy cheaper the food, cheaper the housing, and everything. So it will bring a lot of breath and oxygen to many places that now are dead. And we want to stop the phenomena that people are coming from the periphery to the Tel Aviv metropolitan, and then take it to take people from the city outside for better education, better air, less pollution, and so on. So I think it will give a positive stuff.
And how many more years do you think until we're done building?
The first underground will go about 5 years from today, and slowly we will add on a yearly basis another 2 or 1 lines, additional lines, and this is in the metropolitan of Tel Aviv, which is starting in the north in Netanya, and in the south Bat Yam, and in the east Yaoud, or the Ben Gurion Airport. So it's a huge, I think, something like more than 2 million inhabitants. But once the train, which are combined with the cities, will combine with this, then people can come to work here, to live, and then to live outside of Tel Aviv. It will give a lot of adventure and opportunities for many things.
Okay, so we will look forward to that. We are just about out of time, but tell me, in the last few seconds, how can people follow you and follow the work that you're doing?
How they following?
Sorry. How can...
knock on my door.
Sorry. How can people follow the work that you're doing?
People are knocking on my door every other day. I'm seeing a lot of companies' ideas. I helping the young guys with no charging them for nothing. And once I see a good opportunity, I'm jumping in. The last successful investment that we have done in Catalyst is in Mobileye. And we invested in Mobileye a couple of years ago, and today it's a well-known company around the globe, worth, a lot of billions of dollars, and dominating the market in the car, and then maybe the autonomous car, they will be also the dominating supplier.
All right. So that is exciting because I certainly have one of them in my car. We'll put a link to your website as well as to Mobileye at the show notes of today's show at goldsteinongelt.com. Yair Shamir, I really appreciate your taking the time today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are listening to the Goldstein on Gelt Show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world, but if you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt Show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt Show.